you guys, so today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up and January TBR, as well as my New Year's resolutions for what I want to accomplish in this year's reading, and also talk about some of the challenges I'm going to be doing this year. So let's get started. So first up, I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up, and I feel awful because I only read 2 books this month. And those 2 books are Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by David Levithan and Rachel Cohn, whatever it is, I never know how to say her name. And Weird Things Customers Say in Bookstores by Jen Campbell. Okay, so I'll talk about this one first. So with this book, it was really cute, and but I did kind of have the dual perspective. It had me kind of confused about what the story I was following a little bit. It was still really good. It still got 4 out of 5 stars from me. But yeah, there were some little points that I was like, that doesn't, I was just very, there were certain parts where I was confused as to what was happening because it was a dual point of view. And then with Weird Things Customers Say in Bookstores, I loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And it had me laughing at times, like literally laughing out loud. I was reading this at lunch, and the people sitting around me were like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, no, it's this book. And so I had to read some of them aloud to them, and it was just really funny. So that is all that I read for this month. And now on to the books that I plan to read in January. So this year, I want to read 75 books over the course of the year. If I end up reading more, great. And there might come a time in the year that I end up bumping it up because I'm so far ahead, or I'm like, yeah, read. But I don't want to aim too high for myself. If I do good with this, I'll try for 100 next year, but I don't know. So that means with 75 books, I need to read 6 to 7 books in a month, per month. So I'm aiming high with January, and I aim to read 7 books. But it's really only 6 and 5, 4-ish. But I'll explain once I get there. So the first of my 7 books, I want to read The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan and adapted by Orpheus Collar. This is one of the books that I got this month for Christmas, and I figured I might as well add 1 or 2 graphic novels, depending on how many I have at the time, to each month to kind of round out the month a little bit, so that I feel like I'm not really reading that many books, because graphic novels don't take very long. Normally you finish them in a night or 2, depending on how much time you have to sit down and actually read. So this is the first graphic novel that I'm planning on reading this year. The second book on my TBR, surprise, is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I am still 6 chapters in, so I'm not at the beginning anymore. This one's gonna just take me a few months. But I really want to get to it this month so that I finish 7 books in a month. I don't see it as a problem, but I really hope I actually end up finishing it this month. The next book on my TBR for the month is This Star Won't Go Out by Esther Earl. How far am I into this? I'm about 48 pages in, so I'm not that far into it, but I really want to finish this. I can't remember how this ended up on my shelf. I think I picked it out of my TBR jar, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm just super excited about this book, and I really hope I end up finishing it this month. Her story is so inspirational, and I really want to get to this month, especially since I only have 7 books in my TBR. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, this is probably, honestly, I think this is this is the biggest book on my shelf. This is the biggest book on my TBR shelf right now. Not total, but for the 7 books for the month. So this shouldn't really be that difficult to finish. The next book on my TBR is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which I don't have a dust jacket for. But I read this back in 7th grade, and the young adult book club I think it's that one. They are reading this month, so I figured since I've already read it, it'll be a reread, and it's not that big of a book. It's only like, let's see, how many pages is it? It's about 309 pages, so it's not that big of a book. And the font's not bad. It's pretty big. But and since it'll be a reread, it'll be a pretty quick read. So I figured why not just go ahead and read it with them. And I mean, it'll be a reread. So I need a reread every once in a while, especially maybe one per month, so that I have a little bit of a like, yay. Plus, I need to start reading these again because I haven't read 5 through 7 yet. I know I'm a really big slacker, but I've seen all the movies. Yeah, this is one of those series that I started watching the movies before I realized, oh, I should read the books first. So I finished the whole series in movies before I finished the whole series in books. The next book on my TBR is Mind Games by Kirsten White. I'm about 22 pages into this. So because it's such a thin book, I'm really hoping that this is a quick read. I finish it in just a couple of days and I'm on to the next book. Like, it's good to keep this on. Like, it's good to have a couple of thin books every month because that way I have a little bit of encouragement. But yeah, I didn't finish this last month, obviously. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it this month. The next book on my TBR is My True Love Gave to Me by blah blah blah, edited by Stephanie Burkage, blah blah blah. In this one, I'm about 85 pages in or so. And so I'm about 25% of the way through this one, so it shouldn't really take me that long. Yes, I'll be reading them all after the holidays, but you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, I didn't end up finishing it last month, so I really want to finish it this month. And you know, I only have 7 books on my TBR, and almost all of them I've started already. So yay! And the last book on my TBR for this month is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Obviously, I got the 3rd book in this trilogy for Christmas. I did not get the 2nd book, but so once I finish this book, I'll purchase the 2nd book, and then I could just read the second 2 books and be done. But yeah, honestly, this and The Red Pyramid are the only 2 books that I either haven't read before or haven't started. So this will be really, really nice to only have one actual book that I haven't started for the month. It's a good way to start off the year. Good way to start off with January. So now I want to talk about my New Year's resolutions and what I hope to accomplish during the year, during 2015. So I'm going to start off with talking about the 2 challenges that I'm going to be hoping to do this year. One, it's really only 1 year-long challenge, but the other one's kind of a quarterly challenge. Both of these are run by the Young Adult Book Club over on Goodreads, and I won't be participating in them in the normal way of everyone else, that they're like going to be keeping up with the threads and keep whatever. I'm not going to be doing that because some of the books that I read for the challenge might not be young adult books, which they're like, oh, we should read all young adult books because it's Young Adult Book Club. I'm not in it for like prizes or whatever. Like, I'm not in it to experience it like that. But I am hoping to complete the A to Z challenge, which is basically books from A to Z. You read a book that starts with the letter A to Z, or the author's name starts with an A through Z, whatever. And then it's like X, Y, and Z can be, no, it's not X, Y, and Z. It's Q, Y, and Z, I think, are the letters that can be throughout, I don't know, whatever. I'm also not going to be setting each book for each title. I'm just going to, at least for the first 7 or 8 months of the year, just try and just kind of, once I finish a book with those letters, I'll add that to the list, and that's the book that I read for that letter. And then once I get to the 7th or 8th or 9th month, I'll start finding those books for those last couple of letters that I didn't end up finding on their own. I don't really have any other New Year's resolutions other than to, at least for the book side of things, other than to read 75 books and complete the A to Z challenge. Yeah, that's kind of it. Obviously, I haven't been in BookTube for a full year yet. I've only been in BookTube for 4 months. That's kind of weird, but I guess for the amount of videos I've uploaded, that makes sense. But okay, yeah, I think that's it for this video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Goodbye!